What is going on, guys? It's Reflex here, and the Ultimania for Kingdom Hearts 3 has been released. I was actually planning on making this video yesterday, but I was just tired after work that I just was like, you know, I'll wait today. But still, before I even get into all these interviews, I want to say that can you guys leave down in the comment section below if you know what to do. But I want to be able to get this Ultimania just for me to have, you know, in my grasp. And I don't exactly know the process of, there's this whole little payment method thing that I really don't understand, and a lot of people that explain it confuse me because they don't really give concise explanations on how to do it. So if you know how to do it, you know, buying the Ultimania to get in the States, let me know. Like, give just a good tutorial down below so I'm able to do this, because I really want it, you know, just to see the artwork and all the renders and just everything. So if you can help me out, that would be nice. But yeah, just leave your comments down below. And also shouts out to all the Twitter accounts and all that that's been translating each interview, you know, for all the fans that don't have the book or can't get the book and, you know, still can get this quality information, because there's a lot of juicy stuff that Nomura has told us, which some of it was like, hold on a minute, and we'll get right into that. But yeah, shouts out to all of them, because you guys were doing amazing work and helping out tons, because I can't speak or read Japanese. So if I would have got that book, it literally would have just been look at the pictures as sad as that sounds, because I would have looked at everything and been like, yeah, I don't know what any of this says. But I do want to also preface by saying this is going to be spoilers ahead, so if you guys, you know, don't want to hear any spoilers, I suggest clicking off right now. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, Nomura says that was the master of masters making the heart towards the moon with his fingers. He's the only one dressed like that who would do such a joke thing, as you guys know, at the secret ending. I'm not entirely sure. I think he's in the world of, you know, Verm Rex, which I'm wondering what they're going to call that. Like, is that the name of the place they're going to be in? Is that the name of the game? You know, because I know that place as Insomnia off of Final Fantasy 15. You know, Somnus played as soon as Riku was walking up, which was awesome. But still, a lot of people were thinking that it was Lucia, or Xigbar, as you guys know him now. But they thought it was Lucia because we got to see his chin. You know, and we haven't really ever seen Masters of Masters' face at all. So they were just thinking it was pretty much Lucia doing that towards the moon, which, I mean, would have made sense. But the fact that it's Masters of Masters, that's a little bit, you know, kind of shows us that he has a face, which obviously he does. But it's good to know that, at least hopefully, he'll be in the next installment. Well, not the next numbered installment, because I'll get into this later. But there's going to be another game before Kingdom Hearts 4, which that's kind of obvious. You need that bridge game. At least that's how they've always done it. Except for Kingdom Hearts 1 to Kingdom Hearts 2 to Kingdom Hearts 3, they need like 40 bridge games. But still, it's cool to see that he actually appeared in the game, even after Nomura stated that he wouldn't. So, I mean, hey, the secret movie was a lot. I don't know. It was cool to me. But now the interview started. Now the interviewer asked if what Sora says at the beginning of the game, you know, they can take your world, they can take your heart, is supposed to be said at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3. Nomura says not only that, but it's supposed to show Sora's mental state and offer us a hint. Now, offer us a hint, I'm not entirely sure what he means by that. I wonder if there's more to this interview than what the person translated, but still, it does, like, it's just weird. And I'm gonna kind of go off of this even more, but it was also said that the tutorial for Kingdom Hearts 3 actually takes place after the Kingdom Hearts 3 ending. So that right there kind of threw everyone for a loop for like a good, I would say, 30 minutes after that was announced. But then everyone was like, holy shit, it actually makes sense. And it's crazy, the fact, because he's really going on his Hideo Kojima style, which, I mean, Nomura's been like this, so I really can't call it Hideo Kojima. But, you know, me playing a lot of Metal Gear games, I'm used to this. But still, like, the way, you know, he pretty much puts something at the beginning of the game that takes place towards the end. So you're playing something that's after the game you're playing, but then you go back to the beginning. Like, it's so weird, but it makes sense, because when you speak to Chirithy, she says, you know, you've been here before. And when you're first hearing that, you're like, when? You know, like, what? And back then it doesn't cross your mind, but now after beating it and hearing that interview, it now makes sense. Like, oh my gosh, we really have been here before. It literally was there. But then it also is like, does the final world, that whole part, take place also at the end of the game? Because when she says you've been here before, and if the tutorial takes place after the game, then is that whole Chirithy thing, how is that before? You know, like, it's so odd. And that there's this whole theory about there being different world lines, and if this is actually where he's in a different world. Like it's so weird. I don't understand it. It doesn't make much sense until we get more context than the little bit that we have. But still, it's a crazy and like just confirmation that we got, but it's cool. And I just want to say one thing is that after that, there was a whole bunch of theories going on to where it pretty much took all the negativity out of the Kingdom Hearts 3 community, or the Kingdom Hearts community, and made it go back to where we were just theorizing and everything. And it's pretty much back in that state. And I'm assuming it's going to be in that state until the next Kingdom Hearts, which I'm hoping is the Union Cross mobile game, like an MMO. I'm just hoping they, you know, remaster everything and then do that, because that I will play. I don't like Union Cross as a whole. That game is ass. But if they were to make it into an MMO, that might be the turning point for me, and it'd be cool. But next up, the interviewer asked during the conversation with Namine in the final world if the person Namine wants to see most is Riku, and Nomura says that picking up Namine from Radiant Garden, Riku is acting on Replica Riku's wishes, and that bond between Namine and Replica Riku can be strongly felt. Then Nomura was asked how Namine could come back if Kairi isn't there. He says that when everyone lost their lives initially, Namine's heart went to the final world. Later, when Kairi took Xehanort's final blow, Namine's heart escaped outside of her. Also, he plans to explain more about this later a little. Now, that's not saying if he's going to explain this more later in DLC, or if he's going to explain this more like in a future Kingdom Hearts game. Next question is, when Sora and company leave the final world, why did they return to the moment before their deaths? The power of waking, which I'm glad he talked about the power of waking, because that was one flaw in Kingdom Hearts 3, is that they talked so much about the power of waking without even talking about it. Like, they didn't explain shit about it, you know. And I mean, it was just like, this power has consequences, bang. And then towards the end, you had to wait till the ending for making it be like, oh yeah, it's not to chase hearts, you know, all this and that, and it was kind of dumb. But he says the power of waking is originally meant to be used to restore a sleeping heart to normal, but because it was used to strongly pull the hearts of Sora's friends back to where they were, the effect caused a singularity and caused reality to be overwritten. Depending on the rewrite, it can make everything as though it never happened, and that makes it sound like it's going to be an ultimatum type power, because I feel like the fact that they brought it up so much in this game, I feel like Sora, now that he has that power, even though he got the consequence that young Xehanort was talking about, but he might use that in the future too, because it sounds like that one trump card that you can use. You don't want to overuse it, but you can rewrite the wrong if you choose to. Just don't do it too much. Next question was, how was Roxas able to come back? And this was actually a common, like, just thing that people were arguing about, because they're like, they didn't show it, doesn't make sense. But Nomura says, using the replica body Vex and Endemics prepared, Ienzo used the data from the fake Twilight Town to mostly complete Roxas's body. It's similar to how Xion was made from Sora's memories. In the Keyblade graveyard, Roxas, as a heart inside Sora, could sense that his best friend was in danger, and his heart was able to complete to its new body, completing him. And that was the part that actually people were arguing about a lot, and I don't know why, because if you took the context of the cutscenes, they were just talking about pretty much Roxas and the data in the old Twilight Town, the data Twilight Town pretty much, and talking about Roxas the whole time, and then Demix brings his body, and you're just like, well, the vessel. And I don't know how people just assume that was for Namine. It makes sense, but then, you know, obviously Namine's vessel was the one that, when Replica Riku was talking, saying this vessel is for her and all that, and I mean, it's like people didn't watch the cutscenes, they were arguing without. It's like they didn't play the game. I mean, it just made no sense. But next, when Lucia is defeated, he says he finally remembered why he exists and what he is there for. Is he talking about his past memories from Union Cross? And then Nomura says, yes, if you played far enough in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, you'll understand. And I'll be honest, my knowledge of Union Cross is very little. I know enough that nothing in Kingdom Hearts 3 was confusing. But at the same time, that whole, like, the newer stuff with Lorium and what is Larxene's real name again? See, I forgot. But still, like, just that whole little bit, I don't know much about. Like, it's not a fond key point in my mind, but still, I'm wondering how far they'll go and tell this story, because, you know, we're probably going to get a lot more updates. I think we got an update yesterday or today in Union Cross. But next up, the question is, when Larxene is defeated, she mentions that she just wanted to tag along with him. She obviously says something different, but this is in the Japanese version. And he was asking, is he? And then he says, Nomura says, yes, Marluxia. It's not determined whether or not Larxene still has her old memories, but something drew her to join the organization. She became traitorous partners with him. Now, I'm just seeing what we've seen so far in the Union Cross storyline. It does make sense of why they're so bonded in this whole Organization 13 because of what we've seen, but still, you got that hint when she was like, when Sora was like, who? And then she was like, my secret. And you had that, if you beat Marluxia first and then beat Larxene, it almost made it make more sense than if you beat them out of order. The next question is, are the ancient keyblade wielders Xemnas is looking for Marluxia and Larxene? Nomura says, I won't say it yet, but it will eventually become clear to the player in Union Cross. By the way, the reason Xemnas was looking for Chamber Awakening in Days is because Ventus is an ancient keyblade wielder too. But the next question I want to ask about Terranor, and Terranor was actually another big thing that people were kind of frustrated about, you know, like, where does Lingering Will come from, where did the armor go, and all that, and that's actually questions that are asked. But he says, I want to ask about Terranor. When Ansem, Secret of Darkness, and Xemnas were defeated in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, were both Master Xehanort and Terra revived? Nomura says, ordinarily Terra should have been revived at this point, but because his body was possessed by Xehanort, his heart didn't return and only his body did. The body was used as the vessel for the heart of Terra that was called from the past. Next up, though, is talking about Terra's heart being inside the Guardian. He asks, how long was Terra's heart inside the Guardian? Nomura says, inside Terranor, both the heart of Terra and Xehanort were constantly clashing. During this time, the heart of Terra continuously traveled back and forth between the Guardian and his body, continually possessed over and over. By the way, the Guardian's real name is the person behind. Now, that is hilarious, but I gotta say, the whole Terranor, well, I should say Terra's heart being in the Guardian was a nice touch that I honestly didn't expect, because there was this whole, after I seen that and seen that cutscene and everything, I saw this video recommended that was talking about how Terra's heart was inside the Guardian that was actually made 2 years ago, and he just so happened to be right, and everything made sense after that, because the way he was talking in that video, it just made it make a lot of sense. And a lot of people commented on that video recently and said, hey man, you were right. And that's just cool that someone actually figured that out, because my brain did not put that together. Next question is, what happened to Lingering Will after the fight? Nomura says, when Terra came back, it disappeared, as did the armor. However, a Keyblade wielder's armor, like the Keyblade, will come back to them if the conditions are right. And that part is one part that a lot of people were, you know, kind of complaining about, like, they didn't show where the armor went. Where'd the armor go? Because it did kind of like they fought and all that, and then you never seen the armor again. But it makes sense, you know, his explanation of it. And I'm glad that a lot of the things that people had gripes about are being answered in these interviews, because it's as if the interviewer like was seeing all the people's gripes and then asked these questions. So I mean, I'm just glad they're getting answered. Next up is, do the new organization members not have numbers? Nomura says, I thought about including them at first, but because the numbers of some members from the original organization would change, it got too confusing. For example, Master Xehanort would be 1, Ansem 2, etc. Next question is, when young Xehanort disappears, he warns Sora about something. What was the meaning of that? Nomura actually says what he was about to say, and he says he meant to say, you will disappear from this world. It was supposed to give a hint about the ending. Before that, he also warned that there is a large price to pay for using that power of waking recklessly. The power isn't meant to revive people, but Sora used it to bring his friends' hearts back and reverse time. Young Xehanort was able to imagine that this would cause Sora to disappear, and you could tell, like, just throughout, even when I don't know which heart you were saving, but it was in San Francisco, that part right there, he's pretty much telling you, like, yeah, you're doing too much with this power. And you think, like, of all this, even before young Xehanort told him all about this, you would think Yen Sid, you know, Mickey, they both seem to have very vast knowledge of the power of waking, but yet, knowing how Sora would be, you thought they would have warned them, but they didn't. And that's part that kind of got me, like, you both were this knowledgeable, especially Mickey, because he says it at the ending, like right before he was about to do it. It's like at that point, his mind, even Riku said it, his heart and mind are made up, and it's like, you had the whole game to tell him. You had the whole game to change his mind, but instead, now that he already, you know, he has a little situation that he needs to use it now, and it's just, and then it brought that ending that a lot of people didn't like, which me included. It's not that I didn't like the ending, I'm mad at Kyrie, so it's irritating. But then next up, how does Maleficent know about the black box? Nomura says, after the events of Kingdom Hearts 1, Maleficent ended up in Union Cross. She then returned to present day in Kingdom Hearts 2. The fact she can travel between the current time future is related to why the ancient keyblade wielders are in the current day. That part, I mean, I don't know too much about Union Cross, as I said, but how you getting defeated in Kingdom Hearts 1 throw you back in ancient time, you know? Like, did she have the power to... Did I miss something and like recode it or something when they were talking about data escapes? Did I miss something big? Because that part confused me. But the next question is, Maleficent seems to think the Book of Prophecies is inside the box. Nomura says yes, she does. It's still not clear when she came to think so, but it will be revealed in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross going forward. And the next question is, in Birth by Sleep is revealed that Xehanort wants to open Kingdom Hearts to create a new world, but in Kingdom Hearts 3 he wants to reset the world. How is this different? Nomura says the most essential part is that he thinks the current world is a failure and he wants to remake it. The next question is, underwater in Skylight Island we can see part of what looks like the tower in Daybreak Town. Was Skylight originally Daybreak Town? And Nomura flat out just says yes. The staff member who made the model sheet presented me with two options: put the tower standing upright on the bottom of the sea, or put it upside down. In the end, I went with the second one, because the second one does make it, you know, you're busy fighting Xehanort, so you kind of have to look for it, because it's upside down, you're not going to tell. If it was upright at the bottom of the sea, you probably would have seen it right away, but the fact that it was upside down, you actually had to go look for it, which was a nice touch, and a few people spotted that out, like, right off the bat. And I was one of the people that, after they spotted it, because I wasn't at the final boss yet, but they talked about it, and I was like, oh, I gotta see this. But this next question, you could tell they didn't play back cover, or watch back cover, I should say, but he asks, who exactly are the Lost Masters? I'm not even gonna let Nomura answer this one, alright? You know, everyone should know this, no offense. But next question is, what does the Joker card Luxord gave to Sora mean? Now, I just want to first off by saying, Luxord? Yeah, that's how you pronounce his name. So many people gave me crap because they thought I was saying it wrong. Boy, the tables have turned, because when, I'm telling you, when I first heard, who was it, Vexen that said his name first, I was like, hold on, say again? Who? And then everyone was like, who in their right mind was saying it like that? And then I'm thinking, no one's gonna believe me that I said that. But I actually, and when I made a video talking about voicing 4 characters in one of the trailers, and I actually say his name, so you guys can tell that I was saying it from the start, but it was cool. But still, Nomura says it is to be revealed, but it can be thought as a key to Sora's revival. And I mean, Luxord is kind of, he's a different man, you know, obviously that magician style, just the way he does things is cool, but I wonder how far in the future he could, if he has any power like that to see into the future, because magicians are always thinking ahead of time. They always got that sleight of hand. They always got a way out. You know, obviously that was the end of Luxord's line and, you know, end of his time. So he had that card. I wonder if he knew what was going to happen. You know, I don't know. It's weird, but still. Maybe in Union Cross we'll get more of his backstory, because obviously I believe him and Demyx are also going to be a part of that storyline in time to come. Who knows? I could be wrong, but still. I'm curious to see how that card is going to be used, because I'm also wondering, did Luxord think that Sora was going to have to use it during the battle, or did he actually know about, you know, future events? It's just weird, you know, interpretations of what's to come, what should happen, blah 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 blah. Like, it's theory time until the next game, until everything is answered, which Kingdom Hearts, yeah, nothing's ever going to be fully answered. So we'll always have questions, which is kind of why I like the game, to be quite honest. But that is the final question, at least that I found. It was most of the big interviews. I didn't want any of the smaller ones that really didn't, you know, talk about much. But still, let me know down in the comment section below, what is one piece of information that you got from the Ultimania that surprised you the most? What was the most interesting? I honestly just want to get it to, like I said, to see all the art and everything. Because I actually, this person that you've seen on the screen, I don't know their little @ on Twitter, but if you can find them, I would suggest following them, because they are literally giving off the whole entire Ultimania on their Twitter. And I suggest, if you can't get the Ultimania for yourself, you just follow them, because you'll pretty much get the experience, because he's showing off artwork, or she, I'm not entirely sure which, I didn't look that much into it, but showing off artwork and everything, and I think it's cool that they're doing that. So just follow them to get that little insight on everything. But if you guys did enjoy this video, if you did, leave a like, subscribe, and you guys know the drill. I will see you guys later.